This entire situation is kind of messed up, and honestly, I'm a bit heartbroken for my husband. Real names, I don't care. I'm Sean, 37 male. My husband is Zach, 36 male, and my son is 16, not saying his name. I divorced my ex-wife after she cheated on me for the entirety of our marriage. That was over a decade ago. I don't care anymore. My son is mine, already over and done. I met Zach when I was 28. My son was 7. Me and Zach hit it off instantly. I was finally in a place to start dating again, and thankfully he was just the person I was interested in. We connected on everything me and my ex-wife did, and a million more things. People say life has a plan for you, and honestly, I believe it. I'd go through a million more divorces and being cheated on over and over if I ended up with him every time. One of the big things was my son. Zach was hesitant at first, just because of the situation, but he wanted a family badly, and I was excited for him to meet my son. After dating for a year, I talked to my ex and told her I'm introducing our son to a guy I'm seeing. Told her it's serious, and I see a future with him. She was happy for me. We have a very good relationship now. Just told me to tell her when I was going to do it, so she can be prepared if our son had any questions for her when he visited next. Zach and my son were best friends, did everything together. They loved playing Minecraft together. They spent hours sitting in front of the TV. I loved watching them. I was so darn happy the first person I found after my ex was this amazing. After about 6 months, I asked Zach to move in, and the rest is exactly as I've been describing. Amazing. My son started calling Zach his other dad when he was 10. Very sweet moment, which makes this hurt worse. Well, last weekend my son had 3 of his friends over. They were playing video games in his room, and I just left to do grocery shopping for the week, so it was just them and Zach. I don't know how this topic came up, but things got very homophobic. My husband was sitting on the couch, and I guess my son and his friends thought me and him left, but it was just me. My son's room is connected to the living room, so if you're sitting in the living room, it's not super hard to hear what's going on in his room if he's being loud enough. 4 teenage boys playing video games. One of them said, "How's it feel having an F slur?" I don't know if I can say it or not on here, as a father. My son laughed and said, "Kinda crappy." They said my husband probably touched him when he was little, and my son replied, "He can try it now, he'll get his butt whooped." So not only being a dick to Zach, but now also threatening him over something we all know he would never do. They kept insulting my husband. My husband sat there listening to it all, silently crying. Also, Zach has spent a good 4 hours a day at the gym for the last 3 years, so I don't know who's getting their butt beat, but it ain't him. I got home about 2 hours later to my husband sitting in his car with a bag packed, waiting for me so he could leave, but didn't want to leave my son alone. I asked what's going on, why are you leaving? And he told me everything. I tried to understand as best I could. I insisted he wasn't serious, he's just being a stupid kid, acting tough with his friends. But it didn't matter, the damage was done. Zach left, and I went inside and went off on my son. His friends left, and I spent a good 3 hours going back and forth with my son. At first, he was very unapologetic and kind of agreed with his friends. I asked if he actually thought my husband took advantage of him when he was younger, and he said, "No, but kids block those kinds of memories out, so really, who knows?" I told him to pack his crap. He's living with his mother. Info: his mom lives 3 hours away, which means new school, new friends if at all, less private space as he'd have to share a room with his stepbrother, etc. Just everything that you'd expect going from a single kid in a house to one of 4. My son instantly changed his attitude. He was crying, begging me not to send him away. He didn't mean it. He was just lying to seem cool to his friends. I asked him why did he double down when they left, and he didn't have an answer. I told him to pack his stuff. He's leaving in the morning. Called my ex, told her the situation, and she agrees he needs something drastic. What he did wasn't okay at all. Fast forward to now, and my husband is back, but he cries every night. Honestly, it feels like he's mourning, which I don't want, because when you mourn, you don't get over someone. You get as close to indifferent as possible to keep living your life without them. I don't want that. I want my husband and my son to have that strong bond I know they have, and don't want them to throw it away over this. I don't agree with what my son did, but those accusations at minimum can ruin someone's life and at most end it. I'm disgusted with my son. He calls me every day, tells me he misses me and Zach, and wants to come home. I stay strong on the phone, but after, I break down, and my husband tries to console me. Tells me my son can come back and he will leave. But no, I'm not doing that. I just don't know what to do. I miss my son. I miss coming home and seeing them spending time together. I've thought about therapy for him, but he said no. You can't force therapy on someone. They'll just sit there for an hour and piss away $400. I need advice. You're not the a-hole. Your son's hurtful words towards your husband were unacceptable. Sending him to live with his mother was a necessary consequence. It's heartbreaking, but you're wanting to teach your son a valuable lesson. You are doing the right things, even if it feels awful right now. Your son needs to learn that choices have consequences. I would 100% require therapy for him before he's allowed back in your home. His words could have led to legal or violent actions against your husband. There's no way I would feel comfortable without him having processed out why he did this. Also, I'm super impressed by how you co-parent with your ex-wife. I was an adolescent therapist for years, and it was rare that parents worked together like that. Definitely not the a-hole. You and your hubby must be completely devastated, and I'm so sorry for this whole thing. Your son is old enough to know that was BS, and he deserves the punishment. There are no winners here, just awful. So, a little background. Sorry for bad grammar. I take all the responsibility, don't get me wrong, to make it sound like I am blaming her, but she wanted to have kids sooner than I expected. I wasn't ready, but the constant pressure of her saying, "We got this," or sending me countless articles that women having trouble having kids at an older age, and last, I have 2 sisters who recently had their kids, so their kids having another cousin would be a blessing. Like I said, I don't feel prepared, so I went with it, and behold, only one try and my girlfriend is pregnant. I'm not going to lie, I was stressed and felt unprepared. I didn't know it would happen so quickly, as I didn't think it was that easy. I mean, I definitely had to know it's that easy. So I am taking it all in, ready or not. I'm pulling myself together to be a father, and will take full responsibility. Fast forward to now. We are 5 months in and we just had a gender reveal. We are having a boy. Over time, my stress has turned into complete joy. I gotten a new job, which I feel more financially comfortable. I plan to share knowledge to my child that my parents never taught me, and I am just all over ready to be a parent. However, my girlfriend kept to herself the whole entire day that she couldn't be any more disappointed that she wanted a girl. I thought that it was just her preference, but it turned out that she took it so bad that she told me she looked up if it's too late to A, and even giving him away for adoption. I was speechless. She pressured me this whole time to have kids, and now she is thinking twice just because it's a boy. She kept saying she doesn't think she will love him as much. She looked up male clothes and didn't think it's as cute, and just all over doesn't think she will have a great bond with him. I would say I'm mad, but it really is pointless to be. I know my girlfriend has a problem and really want her to seek therapy. She may or may not be looking it up, but I just want to know what I can do now. She was crying all last night, saying she knows this sounds bad. She's disappointing me and knows it, and she is expressing that she doesn't want any more kids right after. I plan to talk to her more about this. I am certain I need therapy too. Get her therapy. This isn't healthy. If she is completely healthy, then she was looking at kids as dolls and not actual humans. Okay, gender disappointment is a real thing. A lot of people get that and eventually get over it. I also wanted a girl, got a boy, and now I can't imagine life any other way. Looking into A is extreme though. That feels a lot like where I also was at while deep in the middle of postpartum depression. I had a really hard time the first few months. I wanted to adopt him out too, but I was treated and my husband supported me completely, and we got through it. 5 years on, I love that boy more than life itself. The depression can sometimes hit in prepartum as well, so I would highly suggest she be seen by a doctor. You're right that hormones can duck you right up. These things can happen, but they're manageable with the right treatment. My husband and his sister, Meg, had a huge falling out about 3 years ago because she was pretty nasty to me. She was convinced I was beneath her brother and a gold digger. Their family is rich. And all this culminated in Meg and a friend of hers doing a prank, which culminated in them leaving me behind on a camping trip that they invited me on. She refused to apologize and claimed that the place we went wasn't dangerous and it was just a prank. I later got a half-hearted sorry because her dad pushed her into doing it. Anyway, my husband never forgave her for doing that to me and hasn't spoken to her since. Fast forward to August this year, when Meg got diagnosed with cancer and his family wants him to go see her, reconcile with her. My husband refuses. He says her being sick doesn't make her any less of a B, and still wants her to apologize to me if she wants to see him. His family thinks it's ridiculous at this point to expect her to apologize, given that she is sick. His family has been turning against me, thinking that it's me who's preventing him from seeing Meg. I've told him that he can see her and that maybe he should. I'm concerned that he will eventually regret it if he doesn't go see her, and God forbid, she gets sicker. She's stage 1 now. I don't want him to feel guilty later. I don't want him to feel guilty later. I don't want him to have regrets and feel bad for not reconciling. He says he knows, he has thought this through, and that I shouldn't feel guilty about this at all, because his sister has been a D all throughout their life, but it took her doing that to me to fully realize it and cut ties. And he still expects an apology. I don't really care. I don't know what to do. Should I be more forceful with my husband or just let it be? I feel that your husband is right. It's up to him if he wants to talk to his sister again. Plus, if she really does want to talk to him, then she will apologize properly, rather than try to use the unfortunate fact that she is sick to emotionally blackmail him into talking to her again. My husband and I have been married since July. He was estranged from his dad, half-siblings, long before we started dating, so I only met them a few months ago. In October, his grandmother broke her hip, so we went to stay with her to help with her care. It got out that we were staying with her, and his dad's family popped in a few times to try and talk to my husband. He got really cold whenever they were around. Eventually, his older half-brother's wife showed up too and insisted on staying over to help. She spent every second trying to get my husband's attention. At first, I thought she was just doing it to try to get him to talk to his dad's side, until his grandmother made a comment about how she was a desperate harlot. I asked her about it, and she told me about how she used to be engaged to my husband, but broke up with him for his half-brother when my husband got disinherited. He was very upfront when we first started dating that he had previously been engaged when he was 22, but refused to explain why they broke up. He just kept insisting their engagement was a mistake. I feel very uncomfortable now around her, and I'm not sure what to do. We can't leave because his grandmother needs the help, and I really like her, so I wouldn't want to leave her on her own anyway. I did speak to him, and he confirmed his grandmother's story, but thinks I should just ignore her. The thing is, I can't. All of the sly comments she's been making since she got here suddenly make a lot more sense. So what do I do? I like your husband's grandma, a desperate harlot. I would follow grandma's lead on this one. She's just a desperate harlot, who clearly is not winning the John she now wants, and she can only watch you live a life she feels entitled to. Being petty is not the healthy route, but is it something that will make you feel better? I will say it probably will not help your husband to engage with her or his family in any capacity. Me, male 31, and my former friend Austin, male 35, have known each other since we were teenagers. His family were our neighbors, and me and him used to hang out a lot. We did everything together, went to school together, went on trips together, wore each other's clothes, and bought a car together. He was like the brother I never had. In my early 20s, I struggled with last-stage kidney failure and was on dialysis for 7 months. My family couldn't donate a kidney to me because of history of chronic illness. Austin got tested, and he was a match. He ended up donating his kidney, although didn't want him to be involved because after what I experienced, I was worried that he'd get sick or something. I didn't know then, but he was fine. I got better, but still had to deal with other medical problems. I got engaged to my former fiancée a year after. She was with me during that time and supported me a lot. Myself, Austin, and my ex used to spend a lot of time together. There was a period when my ex-fiancée and I hit rock bottom. Whenever she and I fought, Austin would get in the middle, every time. Until he started taking sides, getting too involved in my relationship with my ex-fiancée, and even suggested that I end things, but I didn't listen. In 2 months or so, Austin's brother informed me that Austin and my ex were seeing each other behind my back, and he wanted to tell me for a whole week after Austin brought her to his brother's place. I found further evidence of the affair. I was devastated. I ended both relationships, but was angrier at Austin than my ex. I was mourning my relationship with Austin more than my ex. No one agreed that I cut contact with the one who stood by me when I was in need. I found myself fighting with everyone, saying what he did for me was a huge deed, and I was made to be ungrateful and bitter. They still blamed me for cutting contact, even after Austin and my ex made their relationship public. It didn't last long, and from there, he kept trying to reconcile. He kept reaching out to me, talking about our friendship, the rough periods we endured together, and said that he wasn't himself when he did what he did. He said he ended it 2 months later because he got back to his senses and realized what he lost and wanted to make things right with me. He called from different numbers, got others involved to try and get us to reconcile. He kept coming over to my place, kept trying to force a conversation at public places. He didn't stop till I threatened to take legal action against his constant harassments. After that, he stopped all attempts to contact me. That was in 2016. I heard he moved away and met someone, and they're currently engaged. He moved back to our hometown in April. His wedding is in July. I had his brother bringing me messages from him and tried to take my number so we could talk about finally working things out and including me in his wedding as his best man. I remember that we promised to be each other's best man when we were young, but I refused and stopped talking to his brother. Austin then spoke to my friends, and they were shocked when they heard about our story. They didn't know Austin and weren't aware of what I went through. They blamed my ex, saying she got in between and used us both, and insisted that I reconcile with Austin because he helped me out and was willing to donate his body organ to end my suffering. Plus, he ended his relationship with my ex, and that's how I know he cares about me, and I should give our relationship a second chance. They said the same thing as my family. They're pushing me to let Austin contact me to work this out and leave it behind. I started feeling hesitant. Austin's done more to me than anyone else has. Trust me, I endured a lot of pain because of the fact that we no longer saw each other. But something is stopping me from moving on from what he's done. I don't care who started what, but Austin caused me so much pain with what he did. Everyone blames the ex. Nice and convenient now she's out of the way. Affairs are not a one-way street. They both cheated on you. I'm sorry Austin lives with regrets, but he had choices, and he made crappy ones. The fact that he ended it with your mutual ex is too little too late. Yes, he donated a kidney and helped you, but then he screwed your ex behind your back too. So the one pretty much cancels out the other. You owe him nothing. Austin should probably go to therapy to work on how to live with what he did, because you owe him no absolution or forgiveness. For context. So my mom always buys stuff for my cousin and such. Whatever my cousin asks for, she gets, whether it be a new phone or the latest clothes, or just some money in general. She gets it immediately. And I really don't care much, even if my mom does not do the same for me. But the thing that annoys me and my brother the most is when we both raise our concern about how she spoils my cousin. She gets defensive and says that we are jealous and stuff. And sure, it may sound jealous, but me and my brother are more jealous of the attention and the obvious favoritism she has towards my cousin. Just recently, my cousin asked for a brand new iPhone 13 from my mom. Because the last phone we bought for her, my auntie smashed it because she found out she was dating a guy she didn't like. And it annoyed me because she said yes instantly. While I've been trying to bargain with my mom to finally buy my brother a good enough iPhone 10 or an 11, but she keeps saying no, and it's too expensive. My brother always gets the worst phones and in the most horrible condition possible. I get second-hand phones from my mom as well. While whenever my cousin asks for a new phone, she gets it immediately. Another time is when we go out and such. She usually gives up 1,000 pesos each, me and my brother. But when it comes to my cousin, she gives around 5K, which confuses us because we're all going together, and by the end of the day, that 5K runs out, and when she asks again, my mom would not hesitate to give it to her. And as usual, every time we point it out, she says we are complaining and acting spoiled. She says my cousin is so this, and then it turns into a full-blown fight because she just couldn't tell us why she favors our cousin so. Because of my mom's obvious favoritism towards my cousin, it seems to have made her head bigger than it should be. She sometimes takes my phone and uses it without my permission. She would go through all my messages and stuff, and when she finds something suspicious, she would go and tell it to my mom because she is a suck-up. And when I change my password, I get scolded by my mom because then my cousin could no longer open my messages and stuff. When I got a new laptop, my cousin kept taking it away from me, and whenever people ask if it's hers or if it's brand new, she would usually say that it was hers, and yes, it was brand new. Whenever it's my turn to finally receive attention, she does something to get back, usually with getting new boyfriends, or simply talking about her friends. And it's annoying because whenever she does do this, my mom would then completely ignore us. My mom's cousin would feel entitled about my clothes, jewelry, perfume that I only save for special occasions, my gadgets and such. She has no respect for personal space. And when you complain about it, as usual, I get called a blessed child and that I should be willing to share my stuff to my, as my mom says it, poor cousin. And the entire time she has parents that give her the attention and love given, while my mom barely tells us she loves us. So when I am with my cousin, most of the time, I would on instinct act like B, and I have apologized and have tried to better my attitude towards her. But it annoys me so much because she would act all nice and sweet and innocent. Her dad's an alcoholic and she was banned from drinking alcohol. And when she does drink, she wants me to cover for her. And when I don't, she starts spreading this lie about how I'm a B and the cheater, which led to my latest breakup. She keeps trying to meddle in my personal friendships and relationships with partners, and she snitches to my parents, and sometimes she says lies and my parents would still believe her. I don't know what to do in this situation because I feel like I'm cornered. Well, for starters, maybe it would be the best if you don't interact with her at all if you can. Maybe when she comes over, immediately get out of the house and go over to your friends. And also keep your things locked up, because to me, she sounds like a nightmare to have around. Lock up your phone and laptop, and if someone complains about it, just ignore it. I don't know how old you are, but eventually, you and your cousin are going to branch out, so you're not going to be constantly around each other. Just a matter of time. It's high school or college. Eventually, both of you are going to go your own way, so don't stress too much about her.